My name is Sarah, and I'm a single mother to a 4-year-old little girl named Serenity. I guess eventually I was diagnosed with oppositional defiance disorder. I just thought that was adolescence, mostly. I really got into it with my dad. Me and my dad never saw eye to eye, and things became so tense in the household that I started running away. When I was about 14 years old, because of the fact that I was disappearing for weeks at a time, we had a lot of tension. I was staying out on the streets. My parents got to a point where they had to make a very hard decision about sending me away. But all in all, in everything that I went through, I had a really hard time with residential treatment facilities. As an adolescent, you realize you have no rights. You have no way of escaping, and that's the mentality. I had put on residential therapy, and that really was a problem later on in my using. I actually graduated from high school and was accepted to Concordia College. I went into bio major and was doing really well. I was partying still, drinking socially, but I wasn't into drugs, and I was pretty much keeping my nose clean. My second year of college, I was trying to do finals. I was putting in like 50 hours of work between a kennel and a pet shop, and my roommate introduced me to this drug that kept me up all the time and gave me endless amounts of energy, and it was methamphetamines. I didn't realize how serious I was getting myself into things, because all of a sudden I ended up getting raided. And for somebody who is never had like that kind of a lifestyle, to all of a sudden having, detectives at your door and searching your apartment. I mean, I think the reality sunk in at that point. I stayed clean for 3 years. I went to college, ended up with on the National Dean's List, got a veterinary technician's degree. I had gotten into a relationship with somebody who was a really bad alcoholic. I'd been friends with since I was 15. Our relationship was filled with a lot of domestic violence and a lot of using. And at some point in the middle of all that, I had some kind of breakdown and decided to start using crack cocaine. I remember the moment that things really, really change in your using is when you don't want to use anymore. I got to a point where I didn't want to use anymore, and I was still using. I couldn't promise my mom, my significant other, anybody I loved that I wouldn't be able to use even within the next hour, because I couldn't promise myself that. And thinking that's bad enough, where you get to that point where you're crying while you're using because you can't stop. That is when it is just the most frightening experience for someone to realize somebody or something is controlling you that much. My mom dropped me off in front of the ShareHouse at the parking lot. And lo and behold, she didn't realize this, but my drug dealer lived about 5 blocks away. So she dropped me off at the parking lot, and I walked past ShareHouse to my drug dealers. And my mom caught me about 3 blocks away and picked me up and then brought me back to ShareHouse and walked me to the door, dropped me off at the door, went back to the car, left. And at that moment, I just dropped everything and started walking towards my drug dealers again, where she caught me one last time. And then she deposited me right in front of the office. I knew that something was right. I don't know how to even explain it. Just this horrendous amount of weight came off my shoulders all of a sudden. And I took this deep breath, and I realized I didn't have to fight anymore. And that it was over. I mean, this was just all the lying, all the deception, all the games, all the pain, everything was over, and I was ready to give in. I graduated from ShareHouse. My significant other left his facility, and after 3 years of clean time, we got married, which actually some of the people who had helped us get clean played a part in our wedding, which was just amazing. I ended up getting pregnant, and we had Serenity on May 30th, 2011. And Jim had relapsed while I was in the hospital. Even though he was trying to clean up and get back on track, on the 18th he had a horrible car accident, and he didn't survive it. Some of the staff from ShareHouse reached out to me. I mean, I had been working at Robinson Recovery at the time, and my coworkers were very supportive. The staff that had been there through all of our story since we walked in those doors were very supportive and gave me some advice, you know, and they've continued to do that. On October 1st, it'll be 8 years that I've been clean, free from everything, alcohol, drugs. It's been life on life's terms. It's not always been a cakewalk by any means. I've suffered some great losses. I've had some magical moments, but I'm so grateful that I've been clean through all of it. I guess I can't say enough for the couple of staff people who went above and beyond. I mean, they saved my life, and I've been clean long enough that I'm allowed to be able to call them friends.